Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ekadashi Vrata ki jai, Gaur Premanande. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. Glory to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16. What's the first number? 29, verse 29. Bhagavan Anugavaha. Did I say Om Namo Bhagavate? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavan Anugavaha. Yatamma Vaishtam Astusam. Yatamma Vaishtam Astusam. Brahmateja Samartopi. Brahmateja Samartopi. Hantum neche matam tume. Hantum neche matam tume. Bhagavan Anugavaha. Yatamma Vaishtamastu Sam. Brahmateja Samartopi. Hantum neche matam tume. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anugau, to his two attendants. Aha, said, Yatam, depart from this place. Ma, let there not be. Vaishtam, fear. Astu, let there be some happiness. Brahma, Abhay Brahmana. Teja, the curse. Samarthaha, being able. Api, even. Hantum, to nullify. Nate, na iche, do not desire. Matam, approved. Tu, on the contrary. Me, by me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord then said to His attendants, Jaya and Vijay, depart this place, but fear not. All glory is unto you. Though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval. Purport. As explained in connection with the text 26, all the incidents that took place had the approval of the Lord. Ordinarily, there is no possibility that the 4 sages could be so angry with the doorkeepers. Nor could the Supreme Lord neglect His 2 doorkeepers. Nor can one come back from Vaikuntha after once taking his birth. All these incidents, therefore, were designed by the Lord Himself for the sake of His pastimes in the material world. Thus He plainly says that it was done with His approval. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for inhabitants of Vaikuntha to come back to this material world simply because of a Brahminical course. The Lord specially blessed the so-called culprits. All glory is unto you. A devotee once accepted by the Lord can never fall down. That is the conclusion of this incident. So this is a pastimes of the Lord you all are aware of. Very nice pastimes of Krishna. Still feeling a little bit dizzy. So, as we will know, nothing happens without, we always talk about that without the sanction of God, nothing happens. There's always a reason for that things takes place in this world. And it's very interesting in this end of this purport, it says that all glory is unto you. A devotee, once accepted by the Lord, can never fall down. That is the conclusion of this incident. But we see our people and devotees falling down also. So how it is that he says here, so we can also understand sometimes it can be that it is the Lord's arrangement for us to learn a lesson, or so that there is such, we fall down seemingly, but then they come back for their purification. So temporarily we may fall down. Sometimes the devotees, they are learning from that. They get battered by Maya out in the material world, and then they come back to Krishna again. So temporarily one may fall down. But there's always a reason behind that Krishna's hand is there, He is working behind any situation a devotee may face with. But we should know that we should always try to be on the right side of Krishna consciousness. Don't think that I will just fall down and do whatever and then it's Krishna's arrangement. So we have to be careful when we say this, that it is the Lord's arrangement, but at the same time we want to make sure that we are on the side of Krishna. We want to be the bright side of Krishna consciousness, not neglect the principles of Krishna consciousness. And here, you see, we have two gatekeepers here, Jai and Vijay. If you notice, that's Jai and Vijay. And they're protecting, the doorkeepers, chokidar. So in India, we say chokidar, a gatekeeper. So everything, Krishna is aware of everything, what's happening. So sometimes we can take things into our own hand, thinking that Krishna is working through us. So that's what I'm trying to say, that we also have to be careful that it is Krishna's arrangement, but consult a devotee, Vaishnava, Guru, Sadhu, Sastra. So there's always, it's not that everything is all, we can just do whatever you like. There's always, we should always understand the principles more correctly and act on it with the association of the devotees, sadhu sangha. This is one of the reasons we also associate with sadhus, because sadhus, they can also correct us in the right path. So the devotees are not afraid. It's mentioned here, not be afraid that the Lord is there to protect us, no matter what. Even we go out in the material world, there's always a lot of difficulty in this world we're living in. Just the last 2 years, there was all this COVID situation, and it really affected the world and the people, the world, in terms of their health. So many people are dying, and then there's war. There's always, so this world is not a very comfortable place. So it's a very fearful place. But for us as a devotee, our real fear is that we may forget Krishna. So we have to always remember that Krishna is there, feel the protection of Krishna. That is our fear. We don't care anything else. That we can chant Hare Krishna enthusiastically. And even in the material world, we are maybe in the material world, at the same time we are observing Krishna. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like a lotus leaf in the water, but the lotus is not touched by the water because it slides off. Similarly, a devotee of Krishna, even though we're in the material world, we're fearless. Abhaya Charanar. Srila Prabhupada Abhaya is fearless because he is taken shelter of Krishna. We have to be fearless like that. The strength of a devotee is that he feels the protection of Krishna. He has taken shelter of Krishna. He's chanting Hare Krishna. He's getting Shakti. The spiritual potency comes from chanting Hare Krishna. So we have to meditate on that deeply. Am I chanting Hare Krishna sincerely? Krishna is watching us. The doorkeepers, they are having an argument in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. Narayana was there. He knew what was going on. So sometimes there is some conflict between a devotee. They're like the brother and sister. We shouldn't take so seriously. At the same time, we have to be very respectful to each other. Like Srila Prabhupada. He was very respectful. His godbrothers, he was very respectful to even people who are not serving Krishna. When he is going for a morning walk, he say, "Good morning, sir." He say, "Hey, Hare Krishna." He was very respectful. Maybe they don't want to chant Hare Krishna. But you can say, "Good morning," that's okay. So, there's conflict sometimes amongst the devotees also. Hey, we hear all the time. So, we have to be very, very careful when we perform devotional service. If we want to attract Krishna, if we want to chant Hare Krishna sincerely, we must avoid, be perfect. Perfection of devotional service is when we can perform devotional service offenselessly. Vaishnava Parad. But nonetheless, this was going on in the spiritual world. There was argument between the four Kumaras and the doorkeepers. But it said it in this purport. It was Lord's arrangement. But we have to be careful when we make this statement and we argue and say, it's Lord's arrangement. Also. Samajh gaya? You understand what I'm saying? So there's always that's why it says here contrary. It can be very contrary. But for a devotee, there is no contrary because we understand things very clearly. Everything is very clear. And Prabhupada, when he is writing this Bhagavatam in the purport, he clarifies everything very nicely. That's when we study, we should know clearly what are the points. So it's Lord's pastimes going to take place. He came, those when the doorkeepers took their birth in the material world. As Hiranaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. So the Lord can also take part in this world and perform his Leela pastimes with his devotees. Because the doorkeepers, they took birth as a demon, they're acting as a pastime, participating in the pastimes of the Lord. So this is Leela. But at the same time, we can understand. Bhagavatam clearly explains what we should know, what we should avoid, how we should perform our service. In the next verse, in the next couple of verses, Prabhupada will explain process of devotional service. Process of devotional service is a complete package to serve Krishna. How to perform devotional service. It's not just we can say so many things, but we need to act on it. Like some people, they are giving some PhD. They are giving lectures in the university about Krishna Prem, love of God, principles of devotional service from the nectar of devotion. And then when they go out, light a cigarette. So they haven't understood. It's very theoretical. So we need to understand the principles of Krishna consciousness clearly so that it can go deeper inside us. It has to sink in. He may be devotee 1 year, 2 years. I may be devotee for 48 years now. But I still haven't understood clearly the process of Krishna consciousness. I'm still struggling with the senses. It's not that I'm devotee for 48 years, I don't touch the ground anymore. I'm floating. I still fall down, break my teeth and stuff. I don't have a spiritual body. But the point is that a devotee of Krishna, they are always in the mood of searching. I haven't found Krishna. I'm working at it. Like if you work all day in the kitchen and after 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, your body needs to take a shower. You're all oily and dirty. So you take a really good shower. Scrub with soap. Isn't it? So the process of Krishna consciousness, similarly, like that. We have to clean ourselves. Not just on the surface, very deeply. Chaita Darpanam, we're just now singing. Darpanam Marjanam. Cleanse the heart by chanting the holy name. It is explained in the next verse, Prabhupada will explain this. Cleanse the heart by chanting Hare Krishna sincerely, deeply, calling out for Krishna. Hey Krishna, where are you? Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna is a mantra, it's a meditation. It's a process of the mantra like snake charmer. When the snakes beaten you, they bring the person who can take the poison out with mantra. Very powerful. These people, they know the mantra. So similarly, Maha Mantra, chanting the holy name, is a mantra. It's a prayer. That prayer is Krishna. Krishna is there in the name, the holy name. So, the doorkeepers, they were arguing with the Kumaras, not knowing the Kumaras were great devotees. So we can learn something from this, that sometimes we don't know. We start to judge each other. We don't know. You people, maybe, who knows? He could be a demigod sitting here. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, who knows? So to be very, very respectful to the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada, he was in, they were having a big Sandhyarati in London, big Sandhyarati, full on. Just like we had the Kirtan now. I'm not into sitting down, bhajan and all this festival, I just sit. After a few minutes my legs start to pound. I want to get up and dance. So, for me it's not a new thing because I'm from Prabhupada time. We are always singing and dancing we were trained by Prabhupada to sing and dance loudly and full on speed. All this bhajan it came out later on. But so, I'm not saying it's bad, but from those days. So then, what I was saying, I forgot. What? Yeah, not judging. So, you have to be careful that, so this story, they're having this big Sandhyarati at the London temple, and Prabhupada said at the end, he says, did you see there was Narada Muni and Brahma was here. Everybody, oh really? What were they doing? Oh, they were laughing at you. Those days, those devotees were very enthusiastic. And so Prabhupada wanted that there be 2 seats next to London Ishar. 1 seat for Brahma, 1 seat for Narada Muni. So if you go there, they have 2 empty seats because they're coming. So we don't know. Sometimes the demigods come. They're attending the kirtan. I am having a big Guru Puja in Melbourne, and we are having the kirtan in front of the Gaurnitai. They have Radha Balva Gaurnitai and Jagannath Balashwara. So we were in front of the Gaurnitai. And it happened twice. Gauranga's jewelry fell out of his head. Boing, on the floor, it bounced. And bounced onto the floor in the where we were. And we picked it up, gave it to the pujari. How can it be? I mean, they're quite far away, and it's marble floor. It's not earthquake. Well, we can create earthquakes with the Harinam. And this jewelry fell out, boing, 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 and fell onto the floor where we were. And then next day also, other side, jewelry fell, boing, boing, and it landed into the devotees. So I was thinking, this is not ordinary. Krishna is like getting fired up. He wants to jump in the kirtan maybe. So the idea of Krishna consciousness, to attract Krishna, we are doing to please Krishna, to attract Krishna. Not that we try to see him, we have to act in a way that he wants to see you. Prabhupada used to say. So Krishna consciousness is a process that we have, that we have to perform with consciousness. That's why we call Krishna consciousness. It's not a mechanical thing. Very subtle. Everything is very subtle. Spiritual, subtle of the subtle. spiritual level. Soul is a subtle thing in our heart. We're looking here, there, but it's inside us. Krishna is sitting right in your heart. It's so subtle. So nice that you have the companion that never leaves you. You're always with Krishna. Sridham Sarvabhutanam. Krishna is in our heart. He's friend of all living entities. Then we are looking elsewhere. So, this pastimes, taking place. So I'm trying to make this point that it's a very conscious activity. Devotional service is a very conscious activity. Not that they bring prasadam and they always say Sydney Temple has a very simple prasadam. Come to Melbourne because they have really good. We are not here or there kanekaliye because they have good food. We are here to serve Krishna. Right? Prabhupada went to America, there was very simple. There was not much, he was under a tree. And during Prabhupada time, when Prabhupada was here, everything was really, really austere. No hot shower, even a cold shower. I had to go to the bathroom and I was waiting almost 5 minutes for the hot water to come to, because it needs to heat up. I thought, this is Brahmacharya ashram, it's cold water. When are the hot water is coming? Those days they didn't have any hot water. The pipe, the water come, it was all frozen. They have to bang the pipe, so cold. And devotees were very happy. You take like 10, 20 minutes into the shower because it feels good. You're forgetting Krishna. Haribo, he doesn't sing. But when it's really cold, you get out quick so you can be on time for the program. We are attracted to sense enjoyment rather than serving Krishna. These temples are not for us to just for us to enjoy. He's here to please Radha Ballabha, Radha Gopinath, Krishna, Krishna's temple. We have taken shelter of Krishna. Our main purpose is to serve Krishna. Enthusiastically. How long are we here in this world? So, everything in Krishna consciousness is a very subtle matter. We have to understand Krishna is there behind. He is watching. Am I pleasing him? So you're having a big argument, they're having a big argument at the door. Narayan, he knew what's happening. He came back. He came out at the door and he says, and he solved the problem. I remember when I lived in Gurukul. I'm from a real Hare Krishna devotee from the early days. Gurukul, everything. Went through everything. And we used to have a fight in the kids, when two kids fight. And then our teacher said we had to pay obeisance to each other and embrace each other. It's a pretty difficult thing to do when you don't like someone. That's what they made us to do. Again. Didn't feel like it. So, sometimes we don't like it, but we do it because it pleases Krishna. We have to do because this is the instruction of the spiritual master. Out of love for Krishna. The principle of love is when you accept austerity voluntarily. Like today's Ekadashi. I was thinking yesterday, oh no, like not even water, God, I'm going to do it. I was already mentaling out. This is going to be so austere. And then no one to bring us to the temple. So we came on an Uber to the Mangal Arati from Govinda's ashram. We ordered it last night and they're already waiting for us. We came down and then when he got in the car, he said, are you guys something to do with the Hare Krishnas? Because the address is 180 Falcon Street. He shows in the Uber, this is the Hare Krishna temple. And we're also wearing dhoti. He didn't want to talk much, but he just wanted to say, are you a Hare Krishna temple? So somehow we have to attract people, remind people about Krishna. That is our main duty as a devotee. You can sleep all your life and ignore Krishna consciousness. We don't have time for that. The bear, they sleep for 6 months a year. So you want to sleep nicely? Take a birth of the bear. 6 months. I just sometimes having big kirtan. Some little kids, they're just totally gone. They sleep. They're not even aware of what's going on around them. However, I travel a lot, and I was on my way to Taiwan, 9 hours flight, and the person next to me slept the whole time. I said, how was it so long? 9 hours. Wake up a little bit, talk or eat or nothing. So we waste the whole life sleeping. Krishna consciousness is gone. We are so lucky to have these Hare Krishna temples all over the world. Yeah, Radha Vallabha, Gopinath. So beautiful in this city, big city. As soon as you walk out, there's just so much Maya everywhere. So, even in Vaikuntha, there was this argument going. But this is all Leela. So, Maya can sometimes bewilder us as a devotee, also bewilder the devotees. We get carried away by Maya. That's why devotee has to be strong and understand what is the principle of devotional service. How to please Guru Maharaj. I call this Nepali boy. You guys Nepal, right? Yeah. They all are very enthusiastic. Yeah, nice. Other people also should follow. Like, I'm devotee so long. I don't need to dance anymore. You want that jewel coming from Krishna's head, bouncing on the ground and fall on you. Only on that new devotee, because he's enthusiastic. It didn't fall on the old devotee. I performed so much many years ago. Bhagavatam Nitya Sivaya. 24 hours a day we have to perform devotional service. Devanath and I, this Prabhu with me, we're in Melbourne, we organize Harinam. Practically everybody has an excuse. I got a headache, I have this program, and I don't have a clean dhoti, this and that. We never miss a meal. So, Krishna consciousness is not an austerity, like I was saying, the cold water. It's so wonderful. You have to simply jump in, throw in the process of devotional, the fire of devotional service. It feels so good. As soon as you walk in this temple room, it feels both aram. You just feel so comfortable here, isn't it? I was living in China, and we went to the north, freezing cold, 15 minus. And then it's cold here, bahut thandi hai, and you're complaining, so cold. 15 degree minus, freezing. So I used to teach yoga there. They have special yoga mat, is heated, electrical, because it's so cold. And then doing the yoga, they're all sleeping, relaxation, because the mat's so warmed up. So, the process of devotional service is that we have to always remind ourselves, we have to always understand, why am I here for? Okay, I work so hard, I need a rest. You have to get yourself up. Like I said, the temple room is so wonderful, such a good feeling here, so comfortable. Once you come in here, your ignorance, out the door. You don't feel it anymore. Because Krishna is here. This is Krishna's home. This is Mandir. You want to be in the lap of Krishna, in Krishna's home, We're in the family of Prabhupada. We're Krishna's family. Embrace it with happiness. Susukham kartam abhayam. Krishna says, perform devotional service with full happiness. Because we know we're going to be here a short time. When I was a small boy, I used to think, when I see elderly man, I say, wow, he's going back to Godhead so quickly because he's already old. I have to go through all my life to get there. But now I'm already there, nearly. So time is flying. So I'm putting everything in this package. Why Krishna comes here? There's a Leela. Because he wants to attract us. That's why he lifted Govardhan Hill. He lifted the planet, the Varaha avatar, to attract the conditioned soul. 5,000 years ago when Krishna was here, he lifted the Govardhan Hill. And even then, people were saying, are you God? They're questioning him. That's why he had to lift the hill. Because he wanted to demonstrate that he is Bhagavan. So whatever the problem is, we have to be fearless. The Gopas and the Gopis under the hill, when Krishna lifted the hill, they didn't feel any fear because they saw Krishna is there. He's protecting. They felt like they were in a hotel under the hill. With a so good feeling. This is Krishna's spiritual energy. He made everyone so happy. So we are similarly under the shelter of Krishna. It's full of happiness, full of joy. There's no misery here. We can just eat rice and dal 3 times a day, no worries. We take shelter of Krishna. So when Prabhupada was here, ISKCON was very austere. But because Prabhupada was here, he is the driving force behind everyone. When we felt he was here, we felt fantastic. We didn't care what we eat or not, sleep or not. Because Prabhupada was, when you saw him, we just felt ecstatic. He is giving us that bliss. So Prabhupada is still here. The process of devotional service is that spiritual process that we have to also embrace it with determination. Otherwise, we're just on the surface. We don't feel it. And then we bicker with each other, this and that. We find something to contemplate on. That's why Krishna consciousness has to dive in. Otherwise, we'll always find something to, make ourselves un-Krishna conscious. So Krishna consciousness is a very wonderful process. So Vaikuntha is where there is no anxiety. So similarly in the spiritual world, this is spiritual world. If you want to go back to Godhead, you have to start now. If you're not perfect now, how are you going to get there? Understand? Oh yeah, back to Godhead, yeah, I'm going there. Yes, of course. So everything has to be smooth and Krishna conscious and happy, ecstatic. No quarreling. Everyone is performing devotional service happily. Here. We're not talking about Vaikuntha. Here. If you feel you're in a comfortable association of devotees, you feel fantastic amongst the devotees, then when you go back to Godhead, you don't have to worry about it because you're already invited to Godhead before you even go there. So that's why it's all devotional service is a process of preparation. And we're halfway, I'm chala gaya. You want to leave. You haven't finished the exam. The examination of devotional service is when you can continue on till the end. All to the end. So I'm not getting the blessing. I'm not enjoying. Don't think about yourself so much. Am I pleasing Krishna? We are always thinking, I am the center. Bring to me. I am this, I am that. We're here to please Krishna. And then Krishna will bless you when you're in that mood. Everything in Krishna consciousness is how we are conducting ourselves in that mood of process, performing service, in the transcendental mood, in the humble mood. That's what Sangha association means. When you are in the association of devotees, you have to become humble, because the devotees will put you in the right place. Devotees will correct you. This is why you want to be around the devotees. So, when Narayan heard there's something going on at the door, some issues are taking place at the front gate, at the Vaikunta, he came out and solved the problem. There's no problem. So the spiritual masters, they're always to protect us. Abhaya Charanarabindam. We as disciples of ours, our Guru Maharaj, we have to tightly hold on to the feet of the spiritual master. They're always there to give us the guidance and protection. Krishna is always there to protect us, to give us the guidance. He's sitting in our heart. Hedasya Arjuna Tishtati. There's never a problem for us. We create problem. Perfect. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Everything that's animate, inanimate from Krishna is perfect and complete. Because it's created by God, who is complete. But we make the problem, we destroy. But there's no problem. So Prabhupada has given in this process of devotional service. It's perfect in every way. Simply have to sing and dance and chant. 3 things a devotee should know, Prabhupada used to say. Chant and dance, lead kirtan, cook, nice food stuff, and preach. That's all. I was brought up doing those 3 things. That's why I'm good at it. I didn't come here to go to the university and teach IT or mechanical things. I'm here to serve Krishna. That is our main business, to go back to Krishna, go to the spiritual world. All of the devotees, that is our business, not to quarrel. If you are quarreling with each other, that looks bad. On ISKCON, it looks bad, on Prabhupada, it looks bad. Ya Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, look at you. Kya karai? So, we need to become perfect in every way. Take shelter of Krishna. Take Krishna's help. He will guide us. There was a devotee in Melbourne. There was one devotee, he had some issues. He gets angry quickly and stuff, and said the wrong thing. It happens. And he gave me like a poof. And that devotee says, thank you. It happened to me like revenge. But he says, thank you. Because he was not in a good frame of mind. He was always a little bit pagal. So everybody, this happened many years ago and they still talk about it. The way he behaved himself was so good as a devotee. So this is what we have to do. And Krishna himself is doing that. Well, Lord Krishna was criticized by Shishupala. You can read from Krishna book 101 times. 100. The Pandavas, they said, we'll kill him. He's offending Krishna. Krishna says, wait, I'll deal with it. 101 times. Krishna tolerated it. Because there's a reason for that. One time somebody says something, Kamala, we're angry. Krishna himself tolerated 101 times. So, we go on Sankirtan, we go on Harinam. Sometimes people say bad things. Nowadays people are very nice. In our time, in the 70s and 80s, they pull your sika in India. Stuff like that. You go Harinam, they pull your sika. Some places spit on you. You accept it. There was a lot of hardship those days. I remember I was going from Mayapur to Calcutta on a train. Those days was really tough, transportation in India, packed with people. So we were going for Rath Yatra in Calcutta, 1975. And everybody said, "Oh, CIA, the Hare Krishna CIA," stuff like that, those days. And they were pulling out a Sika, and I was a small boy, I was really scared. So much hardship. They slap you on book distribution on the street. They said, "Oh, you are carrying a gun under your kopin." Stuff like that, very bad words. And so you have to accept the austerity. It's not that everything comes easy. If you really want to attract Krishna, you have to accept that hardship for Krishna. And then there is some issues among this and that. You have to always understand the underlying principle. Why is this happening? Sense control is a very important thing. Well, I don't talk about sense control. No. Kaumara acharit pagya dharman bhagavata niha. One has to practice Krishna consciousness from the early age, from the childhood. Why? Because when you grow up, we will know how to practice Krishna consciousness because you're brought up with it. Oh, no, you go into Gurukul and they will mistreat you and the teacher's not good. They didn't give you nice food. Sannyasi, they're having good food and you're having just fat rice. You complain so much. I went through that. So when you can understand, Krishna wants me to be here and practice this austerity for my own sake. Everybody's gone. No, stay. When Prabhupada was with Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, all of his disciples saying, no, it's Sandhyarati time. So they all left. Prabhupada stayed for the class that Bhaktisiddhanta was giving. He didn't tell anyone you have to stay here. It was their choice. So Prabhupada he told everybody, this boy, that's Prabhupada, he really understands how to see the deity. Shravanam Kirtanam. You can understand Krishna by hearing about Krishna. So when you go see him, you see the deity on the altar, you say, but you don't really understand. If you really want to know Krishna, understand him, you have to hear about him from Bhagavatam, from a devotee's voice. Shravanam, hearing. So he said, this boy understands what Krishna is, because he stayed here and he's waiting to hear from me, while everybody went for Sandhyarati. Prabhupada said that about Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So fearless Krishna consciousness is when you can feel the protection of Krishna. But you have to understand all the thing clearly about the philosophy. Any questions? Because it's 5 to 9. Yes, sir.
Earlier in the class, you touched upon the seal of approval of the Lordships. And even in this pastime, the Lord clearly declared, I'm actually behind this, just because of being disciple. So do we actually see similarly the Lordship's hand with what's happening at every nook and corner of this world these days? How do we see that? Should we think that, yes, the Lord is actually ordaining all these things?
I'm from Bengal, and in Bengal they always say, Keno, why? Like they always criticize Krishna, because he has 16,108 wives, we have one. So they always say he's a real big enjoyer, and they criticize him. So, for us, ordinary living entities, when we can understand the philosophy very nicely, then it's clear. So there's karma, but ultimately, we can't pinpoint on Krishna because he is the main person behind everything. So, in the spiritual world, there is a spiritual world where everything is perfect. But in the mature world, everything is not perfect. There is always hardship. So someone may say, how can he allow this suffering, this COVID, this tsunami, earthquake, this disaster after disaster? Why he did this? If there is God, why he made this problem? You hear all the time people say it. Then they become a Gnostic, impersonalist, or a materialist. As a devotee, we know that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that if we want to know Him, we also have to be humble and apply the philosophy in a way that we can understand clearly philosophy that, like a son, parents, they're always looking for the welfare of their children. But they say, no, I can do it on my own. And they'll go away from the family. Especially in Australia, when you turn 18, hit the road. You get your own life, own girlfriend, this and that, on and on. You don't need the parents anymore. And then they get really smashed. Find a job, this, that, and of course, different culture, sometime in the Australian family, they want you to leave the house, get your own life, get your job. But Indian family, we like them to be with the family, like that. So, we want to go away from God. So, Krishna Jala Jagat, He created this world because we want to live separately from Him. We want to. So He had to create this world, material world. But He is coming here. Narayan, He takes appearance as Krishna. He comes to this world because He, like I said, He performing His Leela to attract us living entities who are ignorant to come back to Him. So He is always have the whole process of devotional service. Speaking of the Bhagavad Gita, He's thinking how I can bring back. So the suffering here, we bring it onto us. Just like here in Sydney or any city, there are areas where you don't want to go. Everybody knows that. Very dangerous area, red light area. You go at night, and if you're a devotee especially, you're not supposed to be there. Maya, you're bewildered. Very crazy place. Maybe gundas or even crazy areas. So you avoid. Everybody knows that. So similarly, the mature world is a place. We bring the suffering onto us. Everybody knows there's a prison house in Goulburn. Oh, you want to be a free man and walk around? You don't want to be in the prison? Then act like a good person. So the prison house also belongs to God for the country. But you don't want to end up in the prison house. So similarly, this mature world is a karagar. It's a prison house. But we chose to be here. That's why we have this temple. Why you have so many? Everybody else is sleeping. They're in the pub, this, that. They're ignorance. We go Harinama, they go to Harinama, Hare Krishna. And then you light your bidi afterward. You know what I mean? So we know how to free ourselves. We bring the problem onto ourselves. There is no problem. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. So the mature world created by Krishna because we want to come here. We want to exercise our freedom from God. We want to turn away from Him. Krishna is playing flute. Isn't it? What is He saying on the flute? Come on, come on. You're playing on the flute. I say, baad mein. Abhi nahi. Not now, I'll come a bit later. Hey, Krishna is playing flute, you look the other way. So Krishna created this world because we don't want to turn to Him. We want to turn to mature world. But we find out this place is not a place for us. It's a very suffering place. That's why He comes here, to attract us. It's not Krishna's fault. We run away from family. No. And then when you're in trouble, then we turn back. So that's why Krishna said, 4 kinds of men come to me. Those in misery, those who need in wealth, those who are looking for Him, absolute truth, searching for God. So there's always the option is there. The process is there for us to return to Him. It's not that His fault. He created all this because we wanted it. Before you become a dog, you go in the dog body, they make you bark, cow, cow, cow. And when you're really good at it, then you enter the body. I heard. So when you go to the planet, before you choose your body, you're not used to, you practice to be an animal. Then when you're really good at it, and then you take the body. Then you take birth in Nepal, you take birth in Sydney, whatever. You take birth in a holy place.